kind of strange. Here it is, our first time here using Restream. And thank you to my friend Ryan for joining me here today. And we did pop up there, so I'm going to have to work on that. But I'm so excited to have you here with me today. I will have to do my intro. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. I'm Annette Richmond, and this is Content Marketing School. And, you know, Ryan, I originally sort of found you through our mutual friend, Jillian Whitney. You were on her show. You came on my show, and we actually ran over because we started talking about ChatGPT. And so I'm excited that you're back here to continue the conversation. So for anyone who does not know you, please talk a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, Annette, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad that we can do the sequel. Sometimes sequels are not as good as the originals, they say. So we'll see how this one goes. But definitely, I liked how we finished on a bit of a cliffhanger last time. So it's great to be able to continue the AI-related chat. I'm Ryan Anderson. And my mission is to banish boring from content creation, both the way we make our content and the content itself. So I help people to do that. I help people kind of, for lack of a better term, kind of get through content creation constipation. You know, so just to push through, as it were, and just get that content out. Oh my goodness, when will this analogy end? Just to basically get it out, you know, content that they enjoy making, they enjoy seeing, and their audience enjoys interacting with. And I find that when content becomes stale, it becomes stale for audiences and for us. So I really want to help people just make it more fun.
You know, I so agree. And I have found that, that let me just move this back a little bit here. So I have found myself that, you know, the more that we have fun, the more the people watching our content, reading our content will have fun as well. And, you know, I have noticed myself over the past, I don't know, several months, maybe 6 months, that I was kind of shifting away from that. And, so you know, I'm working myself to get it back and do more stuff that is fun for me and will hopefully be fun for others as well. So, you know, let's kind of jump right into this. And I mentioned this to you. This is how I wanted to start before we went live. And, you know, the idea of prompts. Now, most of the prompts, if not all of the AI that I use, and I know we're going to talk a lot about ChatGPT, is prompt driven. However, you know, I see a lot of people, you know, they sell bundles of prompts and then people buy them. But as you know, I had mentioned to you, I don't know that I think that's a great idea, because what works for me may not work for you. My one exception is sharing like a basic fill in the blank prompt for people who are just wanting to, you know, get started and don't know how to start. So what are your thoughts on all that?
Well, I mean, gosh, we could make this whole thing just about prompting, couldn't we?
Well, maybe we'll have a third
Yeah, maybe. So look, I think I don't blame anyone, firstly, for the idea of wanting to sell prompt bundles. It's occurred to me, and I don't have time, quite frankly, to go down that route. But when you think of the whole idea about selling and helping people, is that if we are even a step ahead of those people behind us, we've got something that we can help them with. If you can attach money to that and that works for you, and it's ethical and all of that, then that's great. I've seen prompt bundles. I mean, I don't know that it's irony per se, but the funny thing is, of course, the prompt bundles are likely created using AI. So someone's going to the person who knows is going to go into ChatGPT, and they're going to say, give me 1,000 prompts. I mean, it won't give you that much at one time, but ultimately they're going to get to a list of prompts that they're going to hope tick enough boxes for people, and they're going to put a price tag on that. And then if you're someone thinking, how do I use ChatGPT? I mean, can you believe I still talk to people today who don't even know, they've never heard about ChatGPT?
I believe it.
You know, it's like, I don't understand it. It's like, what? We landed on the moon? Like what? So, but basically, if you if you can give someone something that helps them jump a few steps ahead from where they are. So I don't blame anyone for doing that. But as you say, the question is how valuable these bundles are. And you could say that of anything. You get these things all over Facebook and whatever, buy like 2 million photos and all of these Canva things and whatever. And you look at them and you think, no, 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 no. Oh, look, there's one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I think I understand it. I see the logic for those people. But for me, someone who's quite experienced now in using it, I can take a look at, I mean, the whole thing with ChatGPT is you can just use it to help you, help it, help you, help back and forth. Okay. So first of all, you could say, hey, I don't know anything about prompting. What is prompting? How do I do it? And it could tell you. Now, I've never done that because I wish I could go back and probably tell myself a while ago to do that. But anyway, you can just, someone starting from nowhere can just use it. You don't need to buy any bundles. However, what you could do is if you think, yeah, you know what, I'm going to pay $47 or whatever for a bundle. You could put that bundle as a text document into ChatGPT and say, analyze these prompts and find, like improve them, or here's my industry. Give me prompts from these prompts that are relevant to my industry. So I'll stop there at this point because we can keep going down rabbit holes. But as to your first question, I get the idea, because if anyone can bundle anything and make sales, great for them.
No, I agree with you. And I have a basic sort of fill in the blank prompt that I share. If I give a presentation, I will have a slide, and it's basically, this is who I am, fill in the blank. This is my specialty, fill in the blank. My target audience is fill in the blank, and this is what I'm looking for. And I, something like that. But I was actually, I don't know, last several months ago, because I like to look and see what people are doing. I'm sure you do as well. And this was something, it was free, put your name, give your email address. And it was like 1,001 prompts. And so I fill it in and I get it. It's this Excel spreadsheet. And each line is just like one question. And it was, it's kind of like, I think that particular type of thing, can hold people back because they think, oh, and I think we're of the same mind, and I'm going to move on, but I think we're of the same mind of um, working with these AIs, talking to it like it's a person, and then
Mhm.
going back and forth and having the conversation. Because we talked about that, I believe, the last time. So one of the things, and I'm with you on the idea of having a helper. And one of the things that I think it's fabulous for is generating content ideas, and then also maybe revising content. So what are your thoughts on that area?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we both know, right? Having been in marketing and sales and customers, whatever industries we've been in through the years, and I'm talking also to the people out there. All of us have a whole bunch of knowledge up here. I find it comes out best in natural conversations like this, when someone just asks you a question and you find out what you really know. However, sometimes maybe you can't jump on a call with someone to ask you a bunch of questions and work some stuff out. So again, we turn to our friend ChatGPT and we say, hey, listen, I'm in marketing, or I love video. I love helping people make video. Thinking of Jillian, thinking of a version of myself, thinking of you, how can we help people to get better, or whatever it is, our potential clients and that sort of thing. So we explain who we are and what we want to achieve to ChatGPT. And then we say, I want to create content that is in line with the following objectives. So I want to get clients to pay me to help them do X. I want to do this. I want to do that. So you first of all tell it what you want.
Hmm.
You could even say, I'm not entirely certain what I want. Help me work it out, please. Okay, fine. It'll ask you questions. It'll help you think, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that's what I wanted. Then you come back to, okay, now I want content that is aligned with that outcome. So when I put content out, so if, for example, I help people banish boring, I want all of the content I do to, number one, not be boring. Okay. I recognize the irony of my very boring background. I have no excuse really about it. But basically, I just prefer not to have the fake background where you get all the blurred edges. So anyway, so what you would do is you'd say, I want to achieve this. So say I know about video, but I want to pitch my video not at, like next level kind of stuff, because that's too much. I want to bring people from over here
Mhm.
feel overwhelmed. So you say, these are the people I want to help. Let's start with 100 ideas of quick and easy wins that I can come up with for these people. And then when it lists the ones that you are very happy to talk about, you make a note of those and you say, elaborate on that one. Then you could even say, give me a script that is 50 seconds long, because maybe you want to do shorts or reels or whatever. Give me a script that's 50 seconds long that starts with an intro. Basically you tell it what you want. You could even say, I need a script that's got to fit into a minute that makes sense. Like it takes people on a journey and gives them a call to action in the end. How do I do that? Or rather just give me a script. So say it gives you a script and you think, I'm never going to say, howdy, partner. For some reason it comes out, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you can say to it in a nice casual kind of thing. And then you get some weird thing. Like, it's like, yo, what's up? And it's like, I'm not going to say that. So, but you get the idea, and then you can say, fine, how do I naturally speak and that sort of thing. So straight away, you got 100 ideas you didn't have 10 minutes ago. You can start working through those. You can develop a content plan to batch record and do all of those things. Or you can say, well, I'm not going to use AI. I'm not going to use ChatGPT. I'm going to do this all myself. And it's like, well done and great for you if you comfortably do that without the creator's block, without the whatever it is,
Yes, and you have an overabundance of time to just spend
Yes.
doing that sort of thing. So a couple things that you said that I really loved, and one of the things is to ask it questions. And I do that often if I'm putting in something that I'm looking for, and I will say, what else do you need to know? Are there any questions you have for me before you begin? And I will get the questions. What about this? What about that? And the other thing that I want to add is something that I learned, that you can have it give you the information in a certain format. I like to get it in like a matrix format. So I can say, blah, 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 this is what I'm looking for. And please give it to me in the matrix format, with column 1 being this, column 2 being that. Do you do that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I do ask for information in formats. I mean, to be honest, the most I do for what I need is tables.
Okay.
So I will say, I want it this way because that's just easy. Because when you copy the information. Oh, by the way, quick side note: if you don't know, and I wish I was suddenly an affiliate to kind of mention this thing, but basically, there's a great plugin called Superpowered something or the other. It's free, or you can pay what I think is a, quite frankly, overpriced monthly amount of $10 a month. But it's a plugin that organizes. It's not a crazy amount of money, but for what it does, it's
Okay.
no, not 10, 20. It's actually 20. It's the same price as ChatGPT to organize so it's a Chrome plugin, and it organizes your whole thing. So you can create folders and organize your chats and everything, because ChatGPT is bizarrely awful at how it organizes anything, finding something, going back to it and whatever. So just quick side note, maybe if I remember afterwards, I can pop it in the comments. People can go and check it out. I use it because it helps me to just remember where I'm, if I categorize my chats. Let me quickly see what the question was. Oh, sorry about that.
You actually answered my question, because I was saying a matrix format and you're saying a table. And I think we're talking about the same thing, putting it in a format that is easy to understand rather than this big, long list of information and trying to figure it out. So I just want to take a minute to say hi. We have so many fun people dropping in on us. And so we have G here, who is joining us from Dallas, North Dallas. Hello, hello.
World-renowned author now, I think, is she not?
Yes, she is. She is. And Carl Adamson, joining us. And Judy, who says, here's what she says of AI. AI is average information. You need to massage it and make it your own. And yes, we are going to be talking about that shortly. So give me a minute here as I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing
No
here with
problem. Well,
this.
just if Carl is still out there, hey Carl, he's my brother from another mother. I mean, he's a coach and he's excellent at what he does. And just a shout out to him. If anyone needs to work out before you go to ChatGPT, if you want a human ChatGPT, Carl's your man. Okay, he is a guy that can really help you find your why, work stuff out. So he's
So,
awesome.
well, that's cool. I also want to say hello to the several people, including my friend Brenda Meller, joining us from Instagram. So, so again, so one of the things, excuse me, one of the things that I had mentioned to you too about the idea of having it create the content for you. And I think that's what Judy was kind of, talking about.
Yeah.
And I do know people who put, this is what I want, and they will take whatever chat GPT spits out for their LinkedIn post or their blog post,
Mm,
rather than, I'm a big fan of here's what I have. Can you help me make it sound better? Something like that. Or if I'm writing a snarky email, can you make it sound a little bit more professional so I'm not alienating
right.
someone? Um, so and I see it, um, sometimes I've had people tell me they do it, and then when I do see it, I think I can kind of recognize it, that it's kind of that pablum, so
Mhm.
what are your, thoughts about that whole thing, the idea of just, "Here, this is what it spit out, let me just post that."
Okay, so number one, don't be lazy. Okay, we're at the point now where we can all, for the most part, recognize certainly the lazy level one chat GPT response. And one way to tell, in case someone hasn't yet actually worked this out, which I think most of us have, is it completely summarizes the thing that's just been said. So it'll be like, hey Jake, I agree 100% that HR is an important thing when dealing with so and so, and that we should do ABC in order to do so and so. Keep up the good work. And it's like, okay, so you basically just summarized what the person said. You added no value. Quite frankly, I think when it comes to commenting, um, because time is a commodity we don't have a lot of as much as we would like, using ChatGPT to come up with comments to me is a waste of time. If you can't comment without ChatGPT, I would say you got a problem. I appreciate here's I think a decent use case. I know people for whom English is not their first language, but they are speaking to an audience who are English speaking. And I've seen some posts from these people where I think I suspect you used ChatGPT this time, and well done, because some people are going to be put off. Okay, I know I used to be a teacher of English as a second language, so some things you recognize, and you know the struggles that some people have to try to communicate. So we have tools now that can help people, right? So why not say, here is, so you go in there and you put your you can write, and you can say, I don't speak English as a first language. Can you improve this, but keep the casual tone?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
straight away, you get this thing that's grammatically correct and all that sort of stuff. And then you can post like that or comment like that. So I would say, for comments, number one, don't use Chat GPT because if you don't know enough to say something small, I would say you've probably got bigger problems. But if English is a challenge, or if the language you want to comment in is a challenge, I would never comment in a language that's not my own unless for humorous purposes. But basically, I would just say use it to your advantage. Don't make out like you're someone you're not, but use it to help you.
Yeah, I have done that, and I've seen people do that as well, and I think that's smart. And one of the things that I have found, because you were talking about the language that it uses, I have found often that the language from ChatGPT is very salesy, And I comment and say, why is it like this? Like, well, that's kind of what we see out there, and that's why it's really interesting to have these conversations. Sometimes I think I'm like, yeah, because I'm actually talking to the AI. But anyway, so
Can I just say about that, when you say, sorry, Annette, when you say it's very salesy, so the whole thing is you can take samples of text, whether you
oh yeah.
exactly right. So whether you
Yeah.
screenshot the text from somewhere or you copy and paste it in from somewhere, and you can say to it, analyze this text to learn its tone of voice.
Hmm.
And going forward, I want you to speak to me. Well, number one, you can tell it how to speak to you.
Hmm.
You can tell it, please use. So I'm in England. I tell it, use GB, Great Britain. Use GB English spelling, please. And I give it examples. I don't want Z's or Z's in organization. I want an S. So number one, just tell it how you want the output to be to suit you and to suit, if you are a copy and paste sort of person, again, I would always say, don't ever just copy and paste. But if you want to reduce the number of mistakes and edits you need to make, give it as much information as you can. Teach it your tone of voice and all that sort of stuff. So if for some reason you spoke like Snoop Dogg for shizzle, then you can teach it. And by the way, if you want to have a bit of fun with ChatGPT, go and ask it to tell you the story of Little Red Riding Hood in the voice of Snoop Dogg.
Okay. I will check that out. No, I've done that often myself. If I'm having it write something, I will take a bit of my content, because I will sometimes have it help me if I'm doing like a newsletter, to give me an opening paragraph and a closing paragraph. I'll say, okay, here is what I have written. This is my voice, so I want you to use that, and it will quickly do that. And I've even asked it to say, what is my voice? And
Right.
it feeds me back what it is. And so I have have that saved and say, okay, this is what you tell me my voice is. This
Mm.
is what I want you to write this in. So we are fast running out of time here. And I know that you have some tips to share on productivity. And I usually wait a little longer to go to the sort of final thoughts, but I want to turn the mic over to you to share on that. And then I will be pulling up your LinkedIn profile kind of as we're speaking. So
Okay.
if you want to
Well,
take over, that would be great.
no worries. Okay, thank you. So, I mean, just to start by continuing from where you left off there, really, with about in essence, saying, what is my tone of voice?
Hmm.
Oftentimes, we don't know what we don't know. So, I've been thinking about this because I use ChatGPT a lot. I've used Midjourney for image generation. I've used Ideogram. I've used others. Okay, and for numerous reasons, because I pay for ChatGPT, that's where I've settled, and it meets my needs. The great thing that I like about it is that you can have this conversation back and forth to say, okay, I want to generate image. I'm telling a storyboard. So say I'm creating videos for a client. There is a character that let's make up a complete. Say there's a Pixar animation style that you want to use. Okay, you can say I want a storyboard, a visual storyboard for this script. I don't know, if you don't know, I don't know how to represent this story visually. So you say to it, here's the script. I want characters that look like a Pixar movie, blah, blah, blah. And then you take that, and then you can 4 main characters in script. And then you say C2, C. So you basically tell it the character in your script. You help it to identify. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you broke up a little bit there. So that's why I was kind of like
Yeah,
putting my
okay.
ear closer, like that would make a difference, right?
Yeah. Okay, but I'm back now, right? So I guess
Yes.
what I was trying to say is, if there's anything, because again, I don't want to rush. If we go a little bit over, that's okay. I would rather try to give a complete thought, and that is,
Sure, of course. Of
you
course.
can keep going deeper with ChatGPT. You don't have to settle for what it gives you. So when I started using image generation to help clients with videos, and I came up with say we agreed on a genre, a style, an artistic style. So I would say, here are a few styles. Which do you prefer? And they say, I like that artistic style. So you take that style, and coming back to what you said about what's my voice, you can say, I don't know what to I mean, I don't know how to describe this image. Or what if you find a style you like, but you don't know what it's called? So you take that image and you upload it and you say, ChatGPT, please analyze this image. Please tell me the artistic style. Please tell me how to prompt to you so that I can create a storyboard. So have this conversation that admits, I don't know what I don't know. I need you to help me help you, to give me what I need. And then when something comes, and I mean, I've been doing this where it's like, no. And the interesting thing is, it's difficult sometimes not to get a bit cross, saying, okay, are you messing with me? I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why there is a person just protruding from the wall as if they are some sort of trophy hanging there like they were hunted somewhere. It's like you've just got, so image generation sometimes, and particularly with ChatGPT, you just get, because of how it creates images in the background, you're going to get some weird things happening on screen. But what some people might not know is that you can click on the image, click on the little paint looking thing, and you can go and select parts of the screen and just say to it, show me more background. Or you can say, fix Jake's leg. He does not have a leg sticking out of his hip. Okay. And it'll remove the leg and stuff like that. So if there's one takeaway I would give, and then I'll quickly get onto productivity.
Okay.
If there's one thing I would say, is that just keep going. If you don't like it, don't think, well, that's the answer. That's what ChatGPT gave me. It's crap. Could be like, well, you know what? I don't think you understood what I meant was. And just go back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so that's image generation, but so much more could be said about that. Productivity.
I'm just going to say, I'm just going to pull up your profile. Okay, so I see now, if I pull up the profile, that I am not seeing us any longer. So
that's okay. I think everyone can still hear us at least.
Okay, so go on for a bit. And I would just mention, as I'm showing this, you are open to connecting with people. They definitely should follow you, because you share a lot of great content.
By all means, anyone connect and follow. I'm in the middle of a pretty big project, which means I'm not on quite as much as I normally am, but I am certainly able to respond and help and that sort of thing. So by all means, get in touch. If you just need a bit of a creativity boost, need some fresh ideas and that sort of thing, by all means.
No, I love that. Okay, so here, I'm just getting, here we go. There you are, back with me again. Okay, so sorry to the people watching here. I'm just learning. This is my first time using Restream, so we are going good. Ryan, are you there? Because you look a little frozen to me.
Yeah, am I back now? I mean,
Yep. Nope, you're frozen.
Hi, I'm still here.
Okay.
Are we back?
You are a little out of sync, but I can hear you.
Oh, the joys of wireless and whatever bandwidth. But
I know, but just think, here we are speaking, and I'm here like in Metro New York City, and you're over like on the other side.
I'm in the English, exactly, in the English countryside, being told watch out for flooding. So basically,
Okay.
yeah, it's very which, by the way, I mean, side note, I know that because I think it's great to kind of be transparent, isn't it? And sort of like do stuff out in the open. You, as you said, this is Restream, and you are using StreamYard. And another thing for people out there to consider is the likes of Riverside and possibly Squadcast. I think podcast. The tools, I know of a couple of them. Record right bandwidth. It's a solution for the problem, and we can use that offline. But it does help with this sort of thing. And I know that a lot of people recording podcasts use these things, because when you're live streaming, you can have these. It's out of your control. but the way these tools are designed is to make a perfect recording that in the finished result, no one would ever know if you edited it. Okay, so so coming back to the thing, yeah, productivity. I mean, just one of the things is, say, report writing, analytics, summaries. Say you've got a so here, for example, okay, elections come up. All right, you're having those. We've had those. I went and got the, not being a person who's been fully immersed in British politics, I went and got the different policies, like the whole policy documents from the main parties, the parties that I would consider, and said, summarize this for me in short. Like I want all of the policies, but I want it simplified. So the whole idea is you can take complex documentation and ask it to simplify that for you. If you just say, for example, you're going into a meeting and you need to know enough, and it's rather crazy that someone's giving you a 200-page report to read before the meeting. You could basically tell it, summarize this for me in this much, or something like that. So summarization is great. My personal experience is when it comes to analytics from get them in the formats, the spreadsheets, the columns you maybe don't want, all this sort of stuff. You can basically build reports.
You're broken up. We can't hear you. You're frozen again. Sorry. Can you hear me? You can't.
Yeah, no, we're back. I think we just keep having moments. Am I back? Am I back now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. How are we doing?
We're good.
Great. So
okay.
for me, it's like I see. It's just one of these days.
It's technology. That's what it is.
Yeah. But so what I've done when I've had to present reports is, if I try to get, say, download analytics from Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and say X, they don't all give you a report that looks exactly the same. Okay, you get spreadsheets, you get all sorts of stuff that you need to try to analyze, and it hurts. It physically hurts. So what I do is I put those into ChatGPT, and I tell it I want to report that a table, for example, that looks like this. Then I say, I want you to summarize some of the highlights. I want you to say the 5 top posts were these. And I basically just tell it what I want in the report. Then I say, again, here is the tone of voice for this brand. I want you to give me a report that matches this tone of voice, that tells the story of this data, that suggests next steps, all that sort of stuff. Then I can look at that, and there've been times where I'm like, no, that's not a great next step. It's not relevant right now, and that sort of thing. So get it to be, we've said it's your helper. Get it to be your assistant. Tell it, this is what I want. Please do that and give that back to me. And then you go through it, and then you say, not quite, or expand upon this, and that sort of thing. I have saved literally days of time putting together very detailed reports that were used and have helped shape strategy and all that sort of stuff.
No, I was going to, no, absolutely. Absolutely. As I mentioned, I often, if I'm doing like my LinkedIn newsletter, that I will have the newsletter prepped, and I will have, get a little help for the intro and the summary. And I always have it create 5 top takeaways, because it saves me the time of doing that. If I'm doing a presentation, I will put in, this is what I'm going to be covering. This, the presentation is going to be 45 minutes with 15 minutes of Q&A, or 60 minutes. Give me an outline of the slides. and it's very, very helpful. And you're right. Some of the things I might say, well, the slide talking about this and it's not relevant, or what's under it doesn't work. But it saves so much time to,
Mhm.
rather than me having to sit here and say, okay, it's much easier to refine than to just generate the whole thing from scratch. And I think that's, yeah, I think we use all this stuff in kind of a lot of the same ways.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the whole thing is that, back when you think of the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, which goes back some years now as a
Mhm.
book, yeah, one of the things he really spoke about was, and this is not how he wrote it that I remember, but it's more or less the idea, if I remember correctly. Say you've got $100. Is it best for you to sit and try to create this thing yourself and use 16 hours of time, or pay that $100 to someone who really knows what they're doing and can do that for you in 3 hours, and you just bought 16 hours that you can use to actually create videos with your face on it where you're actually doing something. So you don't have $100 anymore, it's gone, but you now have 20 videos that you are actually good at creating, and you pass that off to someone else. That still exists today. That still exists as a thing to do, but ChatGPT acts as that sort of thing where you can say, do that for me so that I can focus. I've now just bought myself 10 hours,
Yes.
or saved myself 10 hours.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And full disclosure, you mentioned that you have a paid subscription to ChatGPT. I do as well. I feel like it's the most inexpensive virtual assistant that I could possibly have, and that's how I think about it. So we are thank you to everyone who has been with us. And again, we have several people on Instagram as well. Somebody just joined us on Instagram. And Ryan, you know what? I think we'll have to just do it a part three, because again, this
Anytime.
is so fun. It's so fun. And it's really, to me, it's just you and me talking. just,
Absolutely. And hey, look, I mean, we could, as we get more comfortable with these tools and that sort of stuff, we could perhaps do a bit of a workshop. We could do some stuff live. We could take some questions. We could show people
ooh,
how we do it. So I'm up for that.
well, okay. Well, that sounds cool. So we will have to take this chat offline.
Yeah.
But thank you to everyone who has joined us. I so appreciate you being here. And this has been, the Restream has been incredibly user friendly so far. And I have a couple of snafus here and there, but you know what? That is how technology goes. So I thank you so much, Ryan, and we'll have to plan to do, probably a couple of things together in the future. Thanks again to everyone who's joined us, and I will see you again next week. So goodbye for now.
Thank you. Bye.